Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul English here, and I'm here to talk a little bit of Red Sox baseball. As you know, I'm a huge Red Sox fan, and want to talk about them a little bit here. So it's been about a month now since the July 31st trading deadline, and while my Sox really did not do anything on that day, a lot of stuff has certainly happened with them during the week since then. Obviously, the biggest one being that Dave Dombrowski has been hired as the president of baseball operation, which, as I understand it, pretty much means he's running the team at this point, at least on the baseball side of it. So, in this video, I want to talk a little, maybe share my thoughts about what I think Dombrowski needs to do throughout the rest of the year, as well as during the offseason, in order to, give the Red Sox the best chance to win it all in 2016. Because, you're in a city like Boston, you don't have the luxury of rebuilding. Fortunately, with our payroll and our farm system the way it is, we don't need to rebuild. We can reload and be back to playoff contenders next year. So, first thing he needs to do is obviously, keep an eye on the what our young guys in the outfield are doing. Obviously Mookie Betts has done a good job for us this year, but especially this month, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Rusney Castillo have done a great job, especially on the offensive side. We all knew Jackie Bradley Jr. was an unbelievable defensive center fielder. It was just a matter of when is he going to start hitting. Well, he's certainly doing that. He's been doing that since this month, as has Rusney Castillo. So, if they keep it up for the rest of the year, they've definitely earned a spot in the outfield next year. I think that's our outfield, not just next year, but years to come. Mookie, JBJ, and Rusney, that's our outfield for years to come. And then, of course, obviously that leads to the question of what to do with Hanley Ramirez, who's been our left fielder this year, and he has not done a very good job of it. As you may or may not be aware, for the past couple of days, we've been working him out at first base, trying to see if he can handle that position. And, I hear so many people going like, oh, that's such a stupid move, he can't do it. Just trade the guy. Like, okay, listen. Do I think the Red Sox do I think their best bet probably is to trade him and Pablo Sandoval? Yeah, it's probably in their best interest to do this, but let's be realistic, people. That's not happening, okay? Dodgers ain't coming to our rescue again. No teams are going to take on those contracts. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. I will be shocked. If both Hanley Ramirez and Pablo Sandoval are not in Red Sox uniform next year. That's just the reality of it. Stop dreaming and get to the fucking real world, okay? Hanley's going to be with this team next year, as is Pablo Sandoval. Both of them will be with this club next year. So how do you make the best of a bad situation? Because whether you like it or not, we're stuck with those contracts. That's just the reality of it. So realistically, honestly, the best thing for this is to move Hanley to first base. And for all those people complaining, oh, he can't handle left field, we're mistaking him on first base. Excuse me. Need I remind you, this guy's been a shortstop his whole career? He did play a few games at third base, but the guy's an infielder, okay? So I truly believe it's going to be a far easier transition for him to learn how to play first base instead of learning how to play the outfield. And here's another idea. Before we start bashing the guy for playing first base, maybe we should find out just how good he is. For all we know, this guy could prove to be like Mike Napoli. The guy never played first base before he got to Boston. Now he turned into a great first baseman. Maybe Hanley Ramirez can do the same thing too. And besides, we didn't bring him into Boston to play defense. We brought him here to hit. And I know he hasn't done that much since April, but the guy can still hit, okay? So, if worse comes to worse, even if the worst comes to worse, he'll just be in the DH spot in 2017 when Ortiz retires. But we're not here to talk about 2017. We're here to talk about 2016. So, personally, I think Hanley can do it. I think he can learn to be a good first baseman. And obviously, we got Pablo Sandoval next year. Guys, I'm sorry, but that's just the reality of it. Hanley's going to be with the club next year. So, and the best place for him in order to give this club the best chance to win, you got to play first base. Sorry, that's just the reality of it, okay? So quit dreaming, everybody. Get with reality. So that's what I think they need to do. But beyond that, I don't think Dombrowski really needs to do anything with the lineup or the infield or outfield or anything during the offseason. I think it's pretty much set. Like I said, with if JBJ and Rusney continue playing them combined with Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts, Blake Swihart. I mean, we have a tremendous core of young players that we can reload this team around. But one thing that definitely needs to get addressed, especially during the offseason, is the starting rotation, which has been atrocious this year. I don't know what the hell Cherington was thinking. Maybe it is a good thing that he's leaving and that Dombrowski has more control because, that was we had a horrible rotation this year. There's no question about it. We need better pitching. Even Dombrowski went on saying when his introductory press conference, we need an ace. Like, truer words were never spoken. And I'm hoping with Dombrowski here, one thing I'm hoping that he does, is that he tells John Henry to take his no signing pitchers over 30 philosophy and tell him to take it and stick it up his ass. Because that is that is a load of bullshit if I've ever heard one. Okay? I don't care if the guy's 30 years old. If he can pitch, sign the guy. And that's what we need to do this offseason. We need to sign starting pitchers. And we have 4, possibly 5 top of the rotation starters who are going to be free agents next year. Legit number 1 starting pitcher. Who are those guys? Well, the 4 definite ones. Johnny Cueto, David Price, Jordan Zimmerman, and Jeff Samardzija. The 5th maybe is Zach Greinke, because he can opt out of his contract with the Dodgers after this year. So, among those 4, possibly 5 guys, we definitely need to sign 2 of them. You definitely need to sign 1, but you know what? More than that, no, sign 2. We need to sign 2 of these guys. So, which ones do we sign? Well, I would stay away from Zach Greinke if I was Dombrowski. Not because I don't think he's a good pitcher. He's a great pitcher. I mean, if the guy's shown this year, he's number 1. But the guy's got a whole lot of innings under his belt, so I'm a little worried about that arm. Plus, he has a history of he has a history of like some psychological problems where like a lot of stress and pressure can get to him. So that worries me, especially in a pressure cooker like Boston. I stay away from him. As much as I would love to have David Price, realistically, I don't see him coming to Boston, and I have a couple of reasons for that. Number 1, I think he wants to be with Joe Madden in Chicago, wants to be reunited with Joe Madden again. And number 2, as we all know, him and David Ortiz aren't exactly the best of friends. They've had some heated moments from their, Red Sox from the time when Price was a member of the Rays. And I think that would be some bad clubhouse chemistry if Price and Ortiz were on the same team. I really don't see that work. So I'd love to have David Price pitching for the Red Sox, but realistically, I see him going to the Cubs. So that leaves Cueto, Zimmerman, and Samardzija. Those 3 guys. We need to sign 2 of them. Which 2? Well, the one guy you definitely need is Johnny Cueto, because this guy is a legitimate ace, and as I said, that is what we need. We need a legitimate ace leading this rotation. So you sign that guy. I know he's going to be $200 million. I don't care. You've got Boston fucking Red Sox. You got the money. Sign the guy. Then as far as Zimmerman or Samardzija, sign either one of them. Both are good. Both are top of the rotation guys. Both can be great number 2s. Sign any one of them to fill the number 2 spot. So that's 2 spots of our rotation filled up. That's two spots in our rotation filled up. That leaves 3 spots for, if I did count it correctly, 7 guys we already have. Who are those 7 guys? There's Clay Buchholz, Wade Miley, Rick Porcello, Joe Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brian Johnson, and Henry Owens. So 3 spots for 7 guys. Which of those? Let's try and figure this out. Which of those 7 guys will get the 3 spots? Most likely, I think Brian Johnson and Henry Owens are going to wind up being sent to AAA. They'll wind up being in AAA next year. Eduardo Rodriguez has definitely proved he's ready to be a big league starter. I think he gets a spot. So that's 3 spots eliminated. Now we have 2 spots for 4 guys. I know that Joe Kelly has been pitching a lot better recently. And I've heard it's because, he's throwing a lot more secondary pitches, using his changeup more often, his curveball more often, and that's leading to more success for him. If he keeps that up, I think he's earned a spot as well. I think he'll have a spot in the rotation next year as well. So that's 4 guys. So that leaves 1 spot for 3 people. I'm taking Clay Buchholz out of the equation, and I'll explain my reason for that in a moment. So that boils it down to Wade Miley and Rick Porcello for the final spot. Which one of those guys get it? Miley's definitely been pitching a lot better recently, but I want to see how Porcello rebounds from his injury. How will he handle the rest of the year? Because I think not only do you have to consider what they do throughout the rest of the year as consider, you have to consider that in, but you also have to consider what they've done in the past as well. Now, Wade Miley has never been, anything more than a back of the rotation starter, and I don't see him being anything more than that in the future. But Porcello, on the other hand, let me tell you guys something. When this guy was on his game, when this guy was doing his thing up in Detroit, when he had his sinker going, the guy getting ground ball out. I mean, he wasn't an ace by any stretch of the imagination, but he was a legit number 3 starter. He could have even been a number 2. So you have to look at that. I think when you look at that, you can factor those into the equation. If Porcello proves he can get back to that, you got to go with him for the final rotation spot. So that leaves Wade Miley. I say put him in the bullpen, make him a long reliever. You never have too many bullpen arms. You can never have enough bullpen arms. Speaking of bullpen arms, that's why I'm leaving Clay Buchholz out. We all heard from Theo when he was here, and Ben and John Henry and all those guys, like, oh, this guy's got electric stuff. The guy's got great stuff. Don't give up on him just yet. Don't give up on him just yet. The guy's got great stuff. You're right. You know what? Yes. That's never been a question. Clay Buchholz has electric stuff. This guy has, let's just say it, the guy has ace stuff. No one's ever questioned that. What we have questioned is his durability. This guy has shown time and time again that he does not have the durability to last 170, 180 innings. Never mind 200. He just can't do it. His body breaks down. The guy can't do it. This guy does not have what it takes to be a starting pitcher in the big league because he can't go the full distance. Can't go the whole year. Now, hold on one moment. But with his stuff, you can't just give up on him. So what do? Well, if he can't pitch 170 innings, maybe he could pitch 70. Perhaps put him in the bullpen in the later innings. Maybe this guy could find himself again. I think with his stuff, this guy could be a lights-out reliever. Hell, maybe even a lights-out closer. I'm not saying they should do it, but it's definitely an option they could do. I mean, the guy's got a great fastball, a great curveball. I mean, I think with his stuff, and he could do it. And it's been done before. Remember Wade Davis in Kansas City? Where this guy was a starter with Tampa Bay. The guy had like a 500 record. I mean, it was an ERA close to 5, something along that line. Kansas City stuck him in the bullpen. The guy's been lights out ever since. I mean, you look at last year, his ERA in the bullpen was 1. I kid you not, it was a 1.00 ERA. The guy was electric. So it's definitely possible, and I think Clay Buchholz could do that. I think this guy could be a great reliever, and like I said, maybe even a closer. So that's just an option they could do. So yeah, definitely get some legit top of the rotation guys to stabilize the rotation, have them lead it, let the rest of the guys fall into place. And that's really the only thing they Red Sox need to do during the offseason, because I think their lineup is pretty much set. I mean, looking at their lineup, like, here's one possibility they could have. Let's think about it for a moment. You got Mookie Betts leading off. I say put Mookie Betts in left field, just because, as a converted infielder, he's probably got the weakest arm of all of them, which would probably fare best in left field. I know he's got speed, but I'm thinking about the arm he has, so left field might be better suited for him. So Mookie Betts leading off in left field, followed by, say, Dustin Pedroia at second base, Xander Bogaerts at the probably not Xander. Ortiz in the third spot, DHing. Hanley at first base. Pablo batting fifth at third. Xander Bogaerts batting sixth, the shortstop. Rusney Castillo batting 7th in right field. Jackie Bradley Jr. batting 8th, playing center. And then, maybe Blake Swihart in the 9th spot catching. Or, what? Guys, don't forget about Christian Vasquez. This guy had Tommy, everyone banging on him to be the catcher this year. He went down with Tommy John surgery. Let's see how he rebounds next year. I mean, far and away, he's a superior defensive catcher to Swihart. Maybe he comes back. Maybe he can be the catcher. I don't know. I mean, they have some options at the catcher, but like I said, they're great young players, great farm system. I mean, so that's a lineup I could go with. And, with Cueto and either Zimmerman, Zamarja leading their rotation, hey, we're back to playoff contention next year. Okay, guys, so like I said, those are my thoughts on what I think the Red Sox need to do throughout the rest of the year and through the offseason to rebound. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.